guys, welcome to the video. I'm Amy and I post 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. EST. I post lots of 3-day foundation wear test, makeup first impressions, monthly favorites, things like that. If that sounds like your kind of content, don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on mine. In today's video, we are talking all about the Bite Changemaker foundation, the primer, and the powder. So we are going to do a 3-day foundation wear test. I will show you beginning and end of the day clips for all 3 days, and I will come back to you in a couple days and tell you my final thoughts after wearing it for probably about a week. If that sounds like something you're interested, go ahead and like this video so I know you like this kind of video, and let's get into it. I've already got my hair up out of the way, and they actually have a primer with this, so I am going to use that today. I'm already moisturized and everything. So this is the skin optimizing primer. This is the normal to dry skin one. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of that. I can't tell if I can smell anything, but it's kind of just like a kind of thin cream situation. It's like lightweight. It soaks into the skin pretty well. Doesn't feel like too heavy or sticky or like it's too emollient, like it will mix in with the foundation and mess it up. So far so good. Okay, so I do have the foundation in the shade L15, and I think I'm gonna put this in the back of my hand and then we can like see the consistency of it. I don't mind this kind of packaging where you have to squeeze it out. It just doesn't feel like very high end. So it does look like a thicker, it looks kind of moussey because of how thick it is, but it also looks like the kind, we'll test it out right now, where when you start touching it, it kind of deflates, yeah, and gets kind of flat. That was way too much, guys. That was a lot. Yeah, so, and it does look a little dark for me, but you know, whatever. So we are gonna do, let's do brush on this side. I don't feel like it looks too dark compared to my neck, but I do still feel like it might be a little yellow. It's very nice. It evened out my skin tone. You can tell there's not nearly as much redness. There is still a little bit of redness peeking through. You can still see my healing scars here. It looks pretty good. There's a little bit of dryness right here that it's clinging to, but not really bad. I don't know if you can tell. And overall, you can see the glow from my skincare and maybe the primer as well through, which I like that. I like when you can see through a foundation because that way you can manipulate it however, you know, you want. If you want it to be more glowy or more matte. Oop, I was about to go in with the brush. Let's go with the sponge on this side. Oddly enough, I feel like I liked the brush side better. I don't know if you can see right in here. It's kind of pilling up a little bit, and maybe I just didn't give the primer enough time, but it didn't do it with the brush. So that's kind of weird. And obviously you can tell it didn't go as far because I didn't even get to touch that part of my face. I would say, this is very weird, I would say on the sponge side it looks drier. Do you see how it's a little dry on my nose? You can see a little bit like in here, whereas like here it looks quite smooth. It does pick up a little bit, but not, I feel like the sponge picked up more. So, and I still have so much. I put way too much. So I'm going to try to go over everything with the brush. I did not put any more product on yet. Just to see if maybe it needs that extra like pressure to push something in a little bit more hard. Or maybe the pigments in the foundation just need to be broken up and you can't really do that with the sponge. Yeah, it definitely looks better on the brush, with the brush. That's odd. Let's see if I can build it up on my redness here and on my scars, and then I also do need to go ahead and put some on my forehead. I feel like it did build up a little bit on this one, a little bit on my acne scars, and maybe a little bit on my cheeks. But I don't think it liked to be built up, because I don't know if you saw, but you could start to see my brush imprints for a minute there, and I had to go back and blend it. But I think it looks good overall, and like the finish is really like, the glow is really showing through. I just do feel like it is a little bit heavy in this area, but overall not bad. And it might warm up to my face, and I might find another way that I like it, mixing it with something else or whatever. But so far so good. I'm in the middle at this moment. So I'm gonna throw on some concealer. So I powdered my under eyes with a different powder that I'm also testing out, but I do want to try the Bite powder, even though, well, it is a little bit tacky still, but I probably would be able to get away with it with my dry skin. But we are going to try out the Changemaker Flexible Coverage Pressed Powder. This is the shade Light 1. It does come with a little guy, but this is what the shade looks like. It looks pretty fair. I'm going to take this Ulta Big Powder Brush, Black Widow, I think, and I'm going to pick up some, and I'm going to lightly press over the face. Okay, so this side is powdered. I think you can see a slight difference, especially in this area, but you can still see the radiance coming through, which I really like. I don't feel like it changed the color or the coverage really. Just kind of lightly set it down. That is all the base products. I will come back at the end and we will try out the new Bite mascara, the Upswing Mascara. I got this little mini when I purchased this Changemaker set. And so many people have been raving about it, so I can't wait to try this. But I'm gonna go off camera and finish up the rest of my face, and then I will see you back in just a minute. All right, we've got the rest of the face on, we got the brows on. I feel crazy. I need to get this mascara on, and then I need to decide if I need more bronzer or what. But first I need to put mascara on. So let's try this out. This is, again, the Bite Upswing Mascara. This is what I hate about minis, is like I can't get close enough because the lid has to like rest on my face. I do wish they made them like a little bit longer, or at least made them skinnier so that I could get closer. So far I like the way it feels. It doesn't feel too wet or too dry. It's a very big like hourglass brush. I poked myself in the eye. Now, you can see I do have mascara on my lower lash. I did not put any on there. That's just residual from blinking and whatnot. So if something like that bothers you, I would know that. And then I am going to take the Q-tip in here. Just gently. I think it did a great job of showing you like my lashes. Like I think they are thicker. It's not the longest look that I've ever seen, but they do look thicker, which I like. It's my preferred, like I don't really care about length as much as I do thickness, but I do feel like because the wand is so big and I got it in my eyes and I blinked so fast while it was still wet, I did get a little bit more clumping than I would like this piece right here is driving me crazy. But you know, it's fine. So let's do the other eye. Okay. So this is the side where I didn't have the blinking mess up. And you can definitely tell it is more separated. There is more clumping on this side. I'm gonna see if I can get it. No. It's actually already dried down, so I could maneuver it. Okay, so the foundation I think looks good. It is more of like a matte, satin matte situation than like what I normally go for. And it does look a little bit thicker than foundations that I go for. But again, I will try it in different ways and we'll see if I can find a way that I prefer to wear it. And then we'll talk about that at the end. But from right now, I think it looks really good. I do think that like all of my glowy, hydrating stuff, the primer and everything came through on it. Especially like I set it down with the powder too. So I do like that it's kind of universal in that way, where I could, if you had more oily skin, you could use mattifying properties underneath it, and it kind of leans more like that. It's kind of in the middle and does seem like it would work in a lot of different ways, you know, if that makes sense. But we will have to see. I will do the outro of this video on the 4th day or 5th day or however many days that I think it will take to give my final thoughts. But I will tell you that this is what it looks like right now at the beginning of the day. And then here is what it looks like at the end of day 1. The beginning of day 2. The end of day 2. The beginning of day 3. And the end of day 3. And I will see you guys in a couple days. Thank you, Amy. Hi, I'm Amy. Today's final review day. Let's talk. That was really weird. But anyways, I have some final thoughts for these things. One, I want to let you know that I'm wearing the foundation today. And look at how lovely and glowy it looks. That is because I have found my favorite way to wear this foundation is mixed with Auric Glow Lust. It's so lovely. I do put like enough to give me a medium coverage. As you can see, I still have the scarring going on here. But I do think it gives me a really nice even base, but it gives me the glow that I so desire from a foundation. Like, look at my forehead. Perfect. So that is my favorite way to wear the foundation, is mixed with Glow Lust. I guess I should try it with some affordable options to see if I can make it work more affordably. But just saying, so far that is my favorite way to wear the foundation, the Changemaker foundation. I've really been loving it for that. And today I'm also wearing the powder. So I love the powder. I think this powder is really nice. Okay, there's something about it that doesn't make it like my favorite, but it is really nice powder that still lets the shine come through, but it sets down your makeup. Like, my makeup is completely set. There's nothing coming off my face. You can see there's like not oils coming through. This is just the reflectiveness of the products that I'm using. And the powder is really good at giving me this just like set base without any kind of extra color. I know that they market this as kind of, let's see, what does it say? Flexible coverage. But I've never gotten any coverage out of it, but I haven't used that little sponge that it came with and like pressed it on or anything. I guess I could try that, but that's not really my vibe. For the way that I use it, which is lightly dusting it over my face, I really, really enjoy it. I do think that I don't think it has any kind of like, it's not like the Hourglass powders, you know, where those give you the glow from within. They give you that like, somehow I look plump and hydrated, but this is a powder. This doesn't give you anything, but it doesn't take away anything that's already there, which is what I really love this for, because I have plenty of like hydrating products, but I do always feel the need to set like my under eyes and like in my T-zone area. But this helps me to keep the plump, hydrated, glowy, glow from within look. It doesn't give it to me, so I don't think it's like A+++, but it is really good at just letting it shine through while still like setting your face and making it feel nice, if that makes sense. So I really did like this as well. And then the primer, I actually only used this on the first day. I wanted to try out the foundation a few different ways, so that's why I didn't wear this again with it. So I am not sure about this, but if you know me, I'm not really like, I don't wear primers that often. But I do want to say like, I didn't have any issues with it the first day that I wore it. I just rubbed it on my hand. I do think I don't think you can see anything. It's a really nice, light moisturizer almost. I'm not sure if it has special primer properties. Maybe this would be something like the way that I use the primerizer. I love the primerizer as like almost like a refresher. So if I did my skincare really early in the morning and I'm not doing my makeup until, 4 or 5 hours later, and I feel like I need a little bit more hydration, I love using the primerizer to just reactivate, like put more moisturizer into my skin, because I do have dry skin. I feel like this would be the same kind of thing for me. Like that's how I would use it and like to use it. But I don't have like a full thought and opinion on it at this time. Let's go back really quick to the foundation, because I kind of just said I love it with the Glow Lust. The Glow Lust is great and didn't really talk about it. It is a more on my dry skin satin matte finish on its own, and it is a little bit thicker, I want to say, than most foundations that I use. But it does give me a nice medium coverage. And I think it looks beautiful with the Glow Lust. On its own, I think it is a little bit too matte for me, and it did kind of settle into my lines because it is that kind of more thick and matte kind of texture on the skin. But I feel like mixed in with this luminizer, it gives me more of like a serum creamy kind of look to the face, which I really like. I think that I will continue to use this because I do think it is a really good mixing medium. Like I said earlier in the video, in the first half of my first impression, I do think this is a really good, like, it's very malleable and universal. I think this would be good because you can make it lean whatever way you want it to lean, which some foundations don't let you do that. Some foundations are like, absolutely not, this is what I am and that's what I'm gonna be. But I do think this would be really good if you like making concoctions and you like primers. So if you're more oily and you love wearing a mattifying primer, I think you would really like this, as well as the powder. If you're really dry and you can mix in a luminizer or a glowy product like I did, I really like how it looks. I think it looks beautiful on the skin. So those are the 3 main products. I did also try out the Bite Upswing Mascara, which I am wearing again today. I have a smokier look on, so you can't see it as well. But I did wear this a few times as well, and I wore it next to my favorite, the Pat McGrath Dark Star foundation, and I felt like they did give me a pretty similar look on the lashes, but I do prefer using the Dark Star one because it is first of all, the wand is not as big. This wand is so big, guys. There is no way to avoid getting anything on your eyes. Let me go ahead and show you the Pat McGrath wand also, just so you can see, like, they do have a very similar shape, but the Pat one is just smaller, like all around smaller. I think, you know, I like a big wand. Don't get me wrong, I like a big wand. But this one is just a bit too chunky for me. So there's that. I do wish it were a little bit smaller. I do like the shape of it. I just wish it were a little bit smaller, like 10% smaller. I like the effect on the lashes, but the feeling, it's very lightweight. The feeling of it though, the Pat McGrath one is a drier formula. It is not a wet formula, but it is more of like a creamy, moussey, dry formula, whereas I find this to be more of like a dry formula. It really does feel almost like when you're putting it on, at least, I mean, obviously there's like goop on the top, it's still wet, there's still stuff in here, but just the texture of the product, the formula of itself, when you're putting it on your lashes, it does feel more almost like a dry wand on your lashes. So I just enjoy this one more, but I do think this is a really, really good comparison. And I do think that they look very similar on the eyes, but it's just those little tweaks that make me prefer the Pat McGrath one. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much, and I appreciate it so much. Again, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!